Your authentic self is your superpower. It would have to be because that's the reason you were born. It's true for every single soul, every single person that is born. But our difficulty is finding, discovering, living, and becoming our authentic selves. Because that's an individual journey that we each do in our lives, and we can think of it as self development or personal development or self actualization. But what I come to understand, it's also ascension, meaning that we come to understand our importance in the world. But to get to that place, we have to move through a lot of barriers. And the barriers exist in our thinking. The barriers exist in our consciousness and how we have been programmed previously, how we allow ourselves to stay programmed and to suffer. That's what happens when we don't become our authentic selves. Then we don't have the lives that we could lead. We don't have the relationships, the success, the money, whatever it might be. It all comes through your authentic self. Because that's why you were born. Every person is connected to Source, God, or all that is, as I call it. And but we figure that out at different ways and different times. In 8 years ago, when I changed my life, when I completely made a U-turn, it's because I knew that I needed to take another direction into becoming my authentic self, and that was challenging. I must say that that was challenging, and you probably have the same thing. See, because we're supposed to be completely unique and different, different than anyone else, different than our family, our parents, our siblings, whoever it is. But that's the thing that causes us to not trust ourselves because of that uniqueness, because of the differences. However, you begin to discover that once you take the steps through those barriers, that fear of the unknown, because that's always what it is, you start to discover this brilliance within you. Now, I can say this because that's been my life. I didn't know I would become a mystic or a sage and that I would create work that could cause people to live these really great lives. But that's exactly what's happened. But as I've said before, I haven't finished yet. None of us are finished. Consciousness is continually expanding or evolving. And I call this in my work as an ascension guide because we all ascend to higher states of consciousness or understanding in our individual ways. I just happen to have been given a philosophy because of the life that I've lived and what I've experienced and what my unique path was. I was able to bring in a philosophy for this time in our world to help us all achieve great success and create a much better world. That's what it is. When I was told I had your life operating instructions, that made no sense to me, except I saw what was happening in our world. And I knew that if more people could own who they were, love themselves, forgive all the past stuff, move through generational trauma, live the lives they're supposed to have, they would live these really great lives, and then we will have a wonderful world because we stop hating ourselves and others and we start creating something rather than destroying things. But we're going to move through this period in our world for a little while longer. And I know this as well because I've been receiving this information. When I started receiving Wilhelm in 1988, I never had any intention of giving it to others or bringing it to the world. And for 20 years, I hid it because I didn't know what was happening, except I will tell you that it has healed my life. All the work that I have received through Wilhelm from this time has just healed my life. Of course, it was all the other things that I have done. It's all the careers I've had, all the other trainings and mentors and coaches. And I've done all of those things as well. And the studies, how can you do the complete Course in Miracles and not gain something? We all do that. But now it's a different time in the world, and so we all are meant to own our authentic selves, and that's what I'm doing. I spent the last month really in kind of disbelief at the physical healing that had occurred within me because of this work. It came through Wilhelm because it's collective consciousness. You see, it's cosmic consciousness and intelligence that has always existed. We just build on it whenever we might live our lives, and we do that when we become willing to become our authentic selves. And I will say this, everyone will not do that. Everyone will not choose that higher place within them, and this is what we will see in our world now. And so you have to make a choice as to whether or not you're going to move to that higher state of understanding and become your authentic self and live the life you want to have and make the contribution you could to our world. That's what we can all do. And I'm saying this because I want all of my people to understand what I'm doing and why I'm making these changes. When you uncover that you have something so incredibly valuable that could cause others to live this amazing life, and you know that, you can no longer hold that back. And that's what I know. And I have experienced it. I've documented so much of it. But what I am going to do also is document the rest of it. I'm going to talk about all the things that I have healed that seemed impossible and give that to others. That's what we're all meant to do as well. When you become your authentic self and live that life, you develop something that you can leave the world. We don't live forever. We have to decide when we're going to make the most of our lives. That's what I'm doing now. But I'm telling you, your superpower, that is you becoming your authentic self.